Alright, YouTube, doing a little something different here. I gotta work on my wife's vehicle. It's a 2007 Jeep Liberty. A couple days ago she had an issue with the ignition and wasn't able to turn the vehicle off. Wound up having to pull the fuse to the fuel pump and let the car die on itself, and then I unhooked the battery, and now I'm replacing this part. Just to let you guys know, this part here is $40. I got it off of Amazon. There's the part number for 2007 Jeep Liberty. Most Jeeps are this year about the same, so I'm hoping this is going to fix it. We'll see when we tear into it. Dealership was going to charge over $600 for this repair. So for this little tiny thing, 40 bucks, I'm hoping that it does the repair. So what we got to do here is we're going to have to pull the dash apart. I'm going to be taking 2 screws off the bottom, one here and one over here. They're T20s. So you got to pull those 2 off, take this shroud off, and then get into the electrical on that. First off, I recommend anyone that's working on electrical on a vehicle, remove your power terminals off the battery so you're working on a vehicle that doesn't have power. Okay, so I've removed the shroud around the ignition switch. Let me show you exactly what was going on. Put the key in, you can turn it, but it won't do anything. Just completely disengages. So we're going to be replacing the switch behind it. So to get to the part that we need to get into, we're going to have to remove these 2 switches here. I recommend taking a photo of those so you know which side the yellow switch is on. In your vehicle may be different colors, they may both be white, so you may want to mark them 1 and 2 underneath, and just remember which slot they go into. So what we're going to be getting into is this unit right here. We're going to have to open this up, and by doing that, we're going to have to put our key in and remove the cylinder out of that whole piece, and then we're going to have to remove this lid and replace that piece I was just showing you. Okay, so to remove the ignition cylinder, you need to put your key into the ignition, turn it into the on position, and underneath there is a button. I don't know if you can see it there. It's right on top of this thing. See that right there? You're going to need to press that in and then pull the cylinder out. So as you can see, I've already depressed that button there, and now you can just pull the whole cylinder out. Okay, what I recommend doing is setting your keys and everything aside and leaving your keys in the ignition there. So to get these 2 screws out, you're going to need a T10 security screw. And what I mean by security, I don't know if you can see this, it has a little hole in the middle. A little hard to see, but you'll see when you open it up. What it has is a little pin on the inside of the T screw, so you can't just use a regular T handle. Alright, so I removed this piece. As you can see, there's some metal shards or pieces that were actually stuck inside of this guy. A little hard to see right now because I know it's dark out, but see the little cylinder in there? They were stuck inside that cylinder. So I had to pull those out, and now I got to slide the new system in that piece. So now that that piece is installed, we're going to put all this back together, back the way it came. With that little tiny screw, we got to put back in that hole there and just attach it all back the way it came apart. So there's a couple things you need to look at when you're doing this. There's a little hole right about there that has a pin that if you're not careful will fall out, which it did for me. But luckily enough I took a picture and I was able to see where it went. So you just slide it right back in there. Look at that. Good as new. Alright, now the spring goes in this little slot right here. I don't know if you can see that now. Okay, right in the center of that square hole, there's a circle in the middle. And then you're going to slide that back over that post right there. So putting this key back in is a little difficult. You got to put a little pressure on this guy at the same time twisting this guy. So I recommend leaving this screw out and the bottom two screws for this cover plate. I recommend leaving those out as well until you get the key back in place, because you need to get, so we can get a good picture of it, that pin back in place that you took out originally. Once it's in place, then you just cycle the key, make sure that it cycles through everything, and you pull it out, and then just button everything back out.